Hello and welcome to the Darren Smith Photography tutorials. This video puts the photo in photography. It's all about light. The light level is the most important factor in photography. Without it, it simply wouldn't exist. There are of course many different situations where light levels affect your picture, such as during a bright sunny day or during the middle of the night. Your camera must get a sufficient amount of light so that it will record your image exposed to it. And adjusting these light levels and the exposure can lead to a vast number of creative possibilities. Overcast diffuse light is by far the preferred light source, with most equipment and media designed to be used in this environment. Natural light is perfect for portraiture as well as flower photography, as the light is well diffused and has little shadow due to the cloud cover. This can also be created with the use of a diffuser or a semi-opaque window. Also, clouds will add a wonderful feature to your landscape photography. Although, if the sky is a dull grey, it will appear flat and boring. There is also a lot of media designed for bright days, and obviously people like to get their camera out for their summer holidays. However, this is not the best light in which to take photographs, as the bright sun creates harsh shadows and affects the colour balance of your image. If you are able to make adjustments to your camera and work around the light, you can balance most of the problems out during composition of your photo. Some of the more common problems you may encounter can be overcome by one or more of the following. You can move into the shade or make your own shade to remove the direct sunlight. You can also use a reflector to bounce some of the sunlight onto the shadow side of your subject, or a diffusion panel that diffuses the direct sunlight into a similar way in which clouds do it. You could use fill-in flash so that it compensates for the harsh shadows. If you get lens flare from the sun, you can use a lens hood. You could use a filter such as a polarizer to cut down reflections, or a neutral density filter to block out some of the light, allowing more control over the shutter. Another thing you can do is you can focus on the mid-tones, as your camera's metering can be easily confused in direct sunlight, especially with high contrast images. And finally, you can change the time of day that you are photographing. A few hours difference will obviously mean the sun has moved, and early mornings and the evening time are considered ideal light conditions. A standard indoor light bulb is considered warmer than natural light and often requires specific settings on your camera, filters or extra light sources from a flash gun or speedlight. If photographing indoors with no other light source other than a regular light bulb, the resulting image can look warm with a yellow hue over the whole picture. To overcome this, it can either be corrected with a filter, either on the lens or whilst editing. Alternatively, specific light bulbs are available with higher Kelvin ratings known as balanced daylight bulbs. However, these too have their own colour balance issues. This example is a slight green tone to it which needs correcting for. There are a number of other ways in which you can deal with any problem you might encounter when using electric light bulbs. You can change the white balance setting on your camera if you can, to one that will compensate for this type of light. If your camera has this function, you will often find there is a variety of settings available to suit most situations. Alternatively, you could compensate for this colour shift in your editing software. A more traditional way is to use an appropriate filter in front of your lens to compensate for the colour shift. And finally, you could use a flash gun or a speed light to get the balance of correctly exposed light from the flash and the light source. Photographers do not always need daylight to produce stunning images. Photographs can just as easily be taken during the night, giving a different perspective to the world around us. There are a number of factors that you should take note of when shooting nighttime photography. The main thing is to always ensure the camera is stable by using a firm tripod, or find a way to secure your camera so it doesn't move, such as on a post or a pillar. Another key factor is to put your camera on self-timer or to use a remote release, so you do not have to touch your camera when you press the shutter. I personally will always put my cameras into manual mode when taking nighttime photos. This means that the camera will not try to compensate for your creativity or tweaking if it doesn't look right. And finally, it's really important to be patient and take several shots, particularly with photographs such as star trails, car light streaks, and monuments that always have people around them. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please feel free to check out more at darrensmith.org.uk or on YouTube, Twitter or Facebook. Thank you for watching.